Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. I was looking up there. The camera's right there. Welcome. See.
I might have muted.
There we go. Wait,
See
so
how?
what is audio?
No, that's what I'm
actually?
saying. It's coming out at the top too. That's why I was confused.
Hello.
Are you good now?
No.
Hold on.
We're good. We're being told by the eye in the sky that
Now
we
we're
are good.
Yeah, we're good. Okay, I don't know why it's doubled up on like that though.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know what
Especially
happened.
because that one looks right
Yeah.
because we're on a stereo thing, and then
Right.
the top one's like at two different paces.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, we're gonna talk a little the bombshell, Jonathan Majors verdict. I was trying to think of the word verdict, and then subsequent news. Also, right before we went live, Disney just announced officially what is on its release calendar for 2024. Some have release dates, some don't. The biggest news out of that, though, is that they are saying this is what we are releasing in 2024, and there were some things not on that list that a lot of people thought would be on that list, so we are also going to talk about that. But first and foremost, I think we're going to be talking a little bit about what we've been watching. But first, I just have a little thing here. Also, we got a nice little Christmas sweaters. But I just want to give a nice little shout out to this guy for putting together all this studio, getting it all looking nice and stuff.
What is this?
Got you a little Christmas
Oh my god. Do I open it right now?
Go for it.
Oh boy.
I can hold the mic if you want. Or, well,
Yeah, you hold it.
hold it away from the other mic.
Wow, did you wrap this?
I did.
Wow.
I'm a professional rapper, man. I'm telling you. One person told me this year in like November, they were like, "Oh, I bet I can wrap presents better than you." And then I dedicated a month of my life to making sure they were wrong.
Oh, little Kramer underwear. Amazon exclusive Funko Pop. Thank you very much.
Boom! One more for the shelf. Put him right up with the James Bonds.
Was that always an I've never seen that one before.
I didn't see it until I was looking at Amazon. There you go.
That's great. Speaking of, I gotta watch the Festive episode. I feel like.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's
missed out on that
my
one.
God. I should have put a Costanza on my list.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert: there isn't one, but either one of them.
All right. So before we get into, I guess, the story, we could just run through a quick what we've been watching. So I don't know if you want to start. You want me to go? Either or.
I think I can hit them pretty quick. I've just been, again, like I talked about last week. Yeah, last week I did get a surround for kind of my Christmas gift to myself because my let's say the financial situation in my house has vastly improved recently. So it's a little Christmas to myself for getting off the struggle bus. I got surround sound in my house, so I've just been kind of like flexing it, like trying to see as much, and also we're officially, me and you, we're in that time right now. Like we talked about last week, too. The next 2 weeks, we will not have shows, but we will be back January 9th, Tuesday night, to do our top 10 of 2023. So I have been rewatching what I consider to be my contenders for that. So some of these are this, too.
Right.
Rewatched Way of Water. I don't know if maybe I'd already watched that at this point last week. But then the big ones that I know haven't been since last week. Rewatched Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I was worried. I was like, people were like, was it as good? Whatever. So, happy to report, I really, really liked that on a rewatch. Very, very good. Rewatched Barbie when it went on to Max. Very good still. Rewatched The Batman, which is not from this year, but it was amazing in the surround. And then the best movie that I have listened to in the surround sound setup so far is absolutely David Fincher's The Killer. Finally watched it. the surround sound is crazy. And I don't just mean, I think like the Batman had a great mix where it just sounded like I was in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
The Killer, Fincher's doing stuff with shot, reverse shot, music is behind you, then music is in front of you. You're hearing footsteps behind you, then it's in front of you. Like, not just a good mix of sound, but he actually was putting, and not just him, his sound designer and everything like that, but the sound was actually moving based on the perspective of the camera from scene to scene all throughout The Killer. And that was like, it was killer. It was literally, it felt awesome to watch a movie like that in my house. It was really, really cool. Then I caught No Hard Feelings, which I had not seen yet. Very, very good. Oh, you hadn't seen it yet? No, yeah. Very, very good. It was one of those things where after The Killer, what's it called? We watched The Killer, and then after that, I was like, well, let's throw on this one. And my roommate was like, I'm not staying up for this. And then we both ended up just staying up for it. It was that good. And then earlier that day, actually, I went and rewatched Godzilla Minus One. Incredible. So good. So good.
That's it for you?
Yeah.
All right, so...
And TV, random stuff.
Yeah. So, movies. First one, Danielle and I watched Xmas, a new movie on a Freevee. New Christmas movie. It was okay. Not my favorite movie. It definitely will not...
is that the one with Robbie Amell?
Yeah. It didn't crack into the regular rotation. I think we actually might have talked about that last week.
Yeah.
And then next, I actually watched Home Alone 2. I don't know why. Hadn't seen it in a while. Pretty good. Not as good as the first one, but still enjoyable. Rewatched Oppenheimer. Still great. That 4K looks fantastic. I can't say enough about it.
Now imagine if you got yourself some nice surround speakers for that shelf.
That would have been nice. Watched Taylor Swift Eras Tour that came out in VOD. So Danielle watched it. That was her second time watching it. I hadn't seen it. That was great. I think they artists should do that more often because I thought it was a really enjoyable experience to if you can't afford to go to the concert when tickets are so freaking expensive. And then last night or 2 nights ago we watched 8 Crazy Nights. I'd never seen it. Danielle really likes that movie.
I've never
very funny. I thought it was very funny. A little like, I don't know. It looks, for being 2002, I thought it looked pretty good. Maybe some casting decisions shouldn't have been made. For example, Rob Schneider playing the Chinese waiter. Maybe 2023 we don't.
You have 2 Rob Schneider epics on there. Home Alone 2.
Home Alone 2, yeah. And maybe we make a different decision with that casting choice. And then National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation watched last night.
Mickey Rooney in for that one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then
you watched Christmas Vacation?
Yep, Christmas Vacation classic. And then lastly, TV show. In 3 days, I believe I watched it from maybe Thursday, so maybe not 3 days. Thursday through Sunday, I finished the entirety of The Bear. Finally caught up to the show that one of your favorite shows, I think, and a lot of people's. Great show, can't say enough. Jeremy Allen, the whole cast killing it. I will say Richie, right? That's his name. Mm-hmm. Richie, at first, I was like, I hate this guy. Don't know. I feel like I had seen people give him some love on Twitter before when I wasn't watching the show. I was like, why do people like this guy? He sucks. Okay. Finally turns the corner. Finally. After
where is that for you? Finally.
That's when he changes his whole thing. Not even when you first get introduced to his daughter. It's when he goes to the restaurant for like a week.
Yeah.
When Carmen sends him to the restaurant.
You're talking about season 2, episode 7, Forks.
Yes. That's when it turns, when he's having the heart to heart with Olivia Colman. That's when it turns for me. But before that, I'm like,
stars in that show is insane.
Yeah. Before that, I'm like, fuck that guy. Yeah. Like he's just annoying. And I get where he's kind of come from. He doesn't really know where his place. I feel like he's kind of been being pushed out, but he also really doesn't want change. And that's my whole thing too while watching. And I was like, he doesn't want to change, but it's also like this shop cannot function as it is.
Yeah.
Because it's not viable.
And it can't function with him as he is.
As he is. So you need to change if you're going to like stay on.
Really, by that point of the second season, he's the only holdout to
exactly.
to not like being 100% on board for this, which is why Carmy sends him where he sends him.
Right. And he doesn't do it to get rid of him. He does it because he knows he needs to change, and maybe he'll, lighten up and see the light when he goes. Yeah, and he did. Carmen.
Adabiri. Sydney. So I have Carmen and Sydney. Yeah, where are you at with Sid versus Claire Bear?
Oh, I mean,
first of all, the great Molly Gordon, gotta shout her.
Yeah,
out.
She's great.
Yeah.
I go back and forth with Carmen and Sydney because like I think they're both like I like both of them as characters, but at the same time they both do things where I'm like, can you just not like do that? Mm-hmm. Like Sydney's like whole thing, like I think when she first starts and she has like a resume or whatever, and he's like, oh, I called like your previous restaurants, and they're like, oh, she's great and blah blah blah, but like she like wants to do everything at a million miles an hour, like she wants to do it right now. Mm-hmm. And that's how she just continues to be. I feel like she never kind of strays off of that.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's my one thing with her where I'm like, it doesn't have to be right this second. Like stuff with like the menu or change the menu or trying these different things. It just, I don't know, it gets a little, or I'm like, can we just chill for like an episode maybe? But at the same time, Carmen doesn't really help in that situation because he like kind of brushes it. What?
I gotta jump in here for a second. Danielle in the chat said Carmi and Sydney as a couple, yuck. I see them more as a brother-sister relationship. Was this her first time watching?
No, she's seen it. She had seen it.
Okay.
Already.
I gotta tell you, I have never disagreed with something more in my life. I mean, I get that it's a very like right. If it is a will they won't they, I think it is like the ultimate slowest burn possible.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that scene where they were tightening the table in the finale was a brother and sister under that table. No. That was delving at, okay, well, all right, what is going on here? Michelle just says, I agree with Danielle. I don't agree
whatsoever.
I mean, what do you think? I think
I see the more
tension with Sydney's issue with Claire in season 2 is not this is how much I love the show. I haven't watched season 2 in like 4 months, but like Sydney's whole issue with her is Carmi's distraction, but there is also something there of,
oh no, I agree. I agree with you on that. And where she's like, where Carmen's like, sorry, I was
Marcus, what are you doing?
Marcus,
you're shooting your shot.
Well, Marcus,
you gotta go.
Here, I like Marcus, but like, okay, Carmen shouldn't have yelled at him. But when he's fucking with these goddamn donuts, and they're like,
no, exactly.
Do you have the cakes ready?
Yeah.
And he's like, look at this donut. I'm like, can you get the cakes ready?
Literally, yeah.
Like, and I'm like, and in that moment, I'm like, oh, he really shouldn't have yelled at him. But I'm like, but he should have not been fucking around with the donuts.
Yeah, especially when you know like how high stakes everything is. Right.
So that was all great. Is she not like 10 years? That was also something where I was kind of like, she is a little young, isn't she? Technically?
No, I don't think. No? I think they're like the same age.
I don't think so.
In real life and in the show, I think.
Oh, really?
Jeremy Allen White's like, I think.
Well, I'm talking characters. Well, let's talk characters.
Yeah, well, I think the characters, are even more supposed to be even more close in age than the actors are. I think Jeremy Allen White's like 30.
Well, you figure he's been going around for a while, like, learning and stuff.
They both did 6 years of school, and then she had like tons of catering jobs between them.
All right,
I think
fair
they're
enough.
Both supposed to be like either late 20s or like 30. I think both of them are there.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely got like the will it, but I think there's a kind of a combination there. I don't think it's just like will they.
Absolutely, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, to say yuck to it. I don't think that. I think it is totally possible that the show, that it's a will they won't they, and I think the answer could be they won't. You know what I mean? I think that's perfectly possible. I just think that the show is doing like a super slow burn to that. You know what I mean? And maybe in season 3, maybe that'll be a bigger factor. But
I didn't like Tina at first because I was like, "Why are you being so mean?"
Why are you being so stuck up?
But she grew on me.
Tina's great.
And I'd say I'm an Uncle Jimmy fan. He likes to keep it real, and
Jimmy Cicero.
Yeah, it's his fucking money.
Absolutely.
So
Literally, exactly. Also, can we talk for a second, because I can never hype her up enough about the show? She's constantly overlooked. and that is Abby Elliott as his sister.
Yeah.
Is especially in season 2. Season 1, I really liked her in. I was like, wow, this girl from SNL from years ago that I liked her on SNL enough, but she's really good in this show. And then season 2, when she actually joins the restaurant and is a much bigger part of the story.
Yeah.
I think that Abby Elliott's work in season 2, that was constantly the performance to me that I was like, that was not being talked about enough. Last thing, because we got to kind of talk about it separately because it's just on another level compared to the entire rest of the series, the Christmas episode.
Great episode. A lot of highs and lows. A lot going on.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with. Maybe it was more the last episode where that's one of the episodes where I was like, nah, I'm a tad overwhelmed. And so same with the Christmas episode. I finally get the memes where it's like, there's this one meme where it's like, when I tell my grandpa that it's not all Justin Herbert's fault, the Chargers, and it's like when John Berthal's throwing the fork and they're arguing. It's very funny.
You're nothing.
Yeah,
You're nothing.
Bob Odenkirk was killing me. John Berthal, again, I really like him as an actor.
John Mulaney, Sarah Paulson.
John Mulaney, very funny in those few scenes especially when he's given the prayer.
Fat Brothers and
when he's given the prayer and he's like, please God, give what's his brother's name again?
Give Michael the strength.
Give Michael strength not throw that fork. Yeah.
Throw that fork. That was great.
And then Jamie Lee Curtis, driving the car through that. I was getting like, they mentioned a gun, so I was like, is she gonna kill herself? That was my first thought. I was like, what the fuck? Like this, that would take like a crazy turn.
Yeah.
Because I feel like up to that point, mistaken or I'm wrong, they don't really bring up his mom at all. Really?
No, she's mentioned like once in the first season.
Right.
But yeah, I think it's to the point where it was like, it's so like expertly done because it's like it was to the point where like you're starting to go like, how come they never?
Or even actually, I'm sorry, not even his mom, but John Berthal. I thought maybe that's when he killed himself. Was on Christmas because he was like when they were they're having that conversation and he's like, oh, I got a gift for you.
Yeah.
And he really takes that to heart, obviously. And then he kind of leaves when when Carm comes back and he's gone, and I'm like, oh fuck, is he gonna go off himself?
I actually just remembered in that week between the Christmas one and the finale with the fantastic. Actually, it wasn't a week; they dropped it all at once. In that episode gap with the Great Richie episode with Olivia Colman, I thought, because they don't talk about his mom, I thought that they were going to Michael killed himself and then she killed herself. Jeez, yeah. That's what me and Brianna were thinking for that whole hour. It was because we watched all 3 of those back to back. But it was that whole hour. I was like, are we gonna get to the finale and then she's dead? My god. But then the finale was we talked about, we were texting each other the other day when you finished. Easily one of my favorite scenes of TV of this past year is her and is it Pete, who's Abby Elliott's husband?
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Who is a great funny presence all throughout the show. But then that scene at the restaurant opening at the end where she's just outside and can't even get herself to come in. Pete's just just come inside. Yeah. Just go for 1 sec. You don't even have to sit down. Just go. And it's just those 2 actors. I mean, obviously one is Academy Award winner Jamie Lee Curtis and one is the guy who plays Pete. But they are both going toe to toe together, and it is just incredible. And then when he goes in, and you can tell that Pete is just such a nice, honest guy, and he has to lie to his wife, the future mother of his child, about that, and and he just breaks down and starts crying. That is crazy that show even did that to just this brother-in-law. It's like the 8th main character of the show, maybe even longer than that. But it's just insane. Great show.
Can't wait for season 3.
Yep.
Really excited to see where that goes. Would love some more kind of just one-off cameos as well. I think that's awesome how they do those.
I don't think those are gonna go anywhere. I think those were such a hit in season 2, and they were done so well in season 2 that
I completely forgot Will Poulter was in that show. I was like, oh yeah, he's in this.
Yeah, he was so good. So good. Man. that season was really a moment in 2023. That was a good one. All right, let's move on here to that scene with the table. I'm still not sold, and then Jamie Lee was amazing. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, now that we're a little bit closer, not that much closer, but a little bit closer. Do you think she will get nominated and/or win for guest actress?
Oh, yeah. I think it would depend.
I mean, that was the huge talk when the episode came out, but it's like those Emmys aren't for another 9 months.
Yeah, I'd have to see who else is in the run.
It's just one of those will they remember it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Yeah. Something that was also a while ago, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, Creed 3, Devotion. All three of those movies have something in common, which is they all came out in March of 2023. Also came out in March of 2023 was that, unfortunately, Jonathan Majors had been arrested in New York City for an apparent assault charge. All these many months later, tons of news headlines. Although, I will say, this whole trial felt a lot quieter than the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial
I would agree with that,
earlier in the year.
Yeah.
It was more just kind of waiting, just kind of speculating and just going, what's going to happen with this? But we found out, and that is 2 days ago, yesterday, I think. Yesterday they announced that Jonathan Majors, the verdict came down that he was found guilty on 2 of 4 of the charges. His sentencing will come later, but less than an hour, I believe they said it was 39 minutes after the verdict was released to the press. 39 minutes later or whatever, Marvel put out a press release saying that they are officially severing ties with Jonathan Majors and that he will no longer have any part of any production going forward at Marvel Studios. So, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I know obviously people have thoughts on the trial itself, on the charges itself. We're not going to get into that as much, but more so, what are your thoughts on just basically this verdict and that Marvel has dropped him, and what is that going to mean going forward? And what happens to Jonathan Majors after this?
Yeah, no, I think obviously, I haven't really paid that close of attention to the trial, nor have I did I pay really that close attention to the Johnny Depp Amber Heard one or any of those other ones. But yeah, so he was found, like you said, found guilty, and subsequently, dropped from Marvel, as well as not dropped from other projects, but there was that there's that movie Magazine Dreams that he did that was supposed to release, and who knows what's gonna happen with that now. As far as Marvel goes, again, Loki kind of did that thing where it was they gave him a way out, where it's we don't Kang actually taken care of, don't need to do it, we're gonna focus on something else. And then there was that story I think that also came out yesterday, or a report that they're now referring to Kang Dynasty as Avengers 5 instead of so obviously reworking the title. And as far as him, in the future, I think he probably doesn't. I would be shocked if he went to jail for a year. Maybe he gets some sort of probation or something. But I think he'll definitely, he'll just have to work his way back. He'll do, smaller films to start off, and then, maybe 6-7 years from now, maybe less, I don't know, you'll start to see him maybe in some bigger name projects, maybe not not a Marvel or a DC, but
I think it'll be
more mainstream, I guess.
I think, and again, we're kind of talking about all of this as bad examples, but I mean, when you're talking about this kind of arena of stuff in Hollywood, I think maybe for this one you kind of look towards a Mel Gibson, where it's he went away for a while, and then he did a lot of direct to DVD, then a lot of direct to Redbox, then a couple direct to streaming. Then Mark Wahlberg was you know what, I'll cast you as my dad in Daddy's Home 2. And then really ironic, I mean, I actually kind of like that movie. If we were doing top 10 Christmas movies, it has a chance. But and I do think that Mel Gibson and John Lithgow are both really good in that movie. But I think it's that. I think you're exactly right. It's you got to crawl your way back up, because this is not. It's a terrible thing that he did. You know what I mean? And obviously I did not stay super up to date on the trial, but I know enough to know that basically it was one of those outcomes that they go, if it was Judge Judy, it would be, I sentence you guys to break up. Like, this is
not a good relationship.
Messy, toxic, abusive on both sides, whatever. But the trial was about, did he do these things to her? Yes, he did. So so there you go. That is terrible stuff. But also, Robert Downey Jr. was in prison for years. You know what I mean? It's like, people can come back, people can atone for their mistakes, people can move on, people can do, you know, all kinds of things as long as they put in the work for it. I think the question is just, does he put in the work for it? He got that I forget now, all the details just left my brain, but he is attached to star in a Spike Lee movie that's coming up. Does maybe Spike Lee, is that movie just gone? Or does Spike Lee maybe do that movie and recast? Or does Spike Lee go, you know what, Jonathan, let's come back to this project together in 2 years. You know what I mean? I'm Spike Lee. He's not a Quentin Tarantino that goes, no, I have to make this movie right now. It's like, you know, he can make another one of the scripts, the thousands of scripts that are being sent to Spike Lee. So I think it's just going to be one of those things where it's like, is he ever going to come back to Marvel? Is he ever going to come back to Disney, who he put kind of through all of this stuff? Absolutely not. But, you know, I think eventually he will be back. You know, I could see him being in like an Expendables 5 thing. Because, I mean, the thing to keep in mind is just half those big action stars like that have had domestic. I mean, people like Jeremy Renner have had you know, domestic assault stuff. Michael Fassbender even, you know, back many years ago. But like, this stuff is horrible, but it does happen. It's just very unfortunate that the way he handled it, I will say, was not, I think, dignified. The kind of immediate, like, messiness of it, I think, really could have been avoided. But yeah, I mean, I think.
Did you ever see that video of like that, like,
him breaking up that fight?
Yeah.
That was, oh man,
that was a weird, like, kind of. Again, I never saw like a confirmation of like, oh, that was fake. Yeah, like, that was like a very weird, odd PR kind of stunt that maybe was pulled. But yeah, no, I think, like, you know, a few years from now you'll see him back in, you know, smaller roles, but nothing like huge. But again, like, he is, as we've seen throughout the past however many years that he's been kind of into the mainstream, he's very talented. One year.
Basically 1 year.
Well, no, I mean,
from Last Black Man in San Francisco.
Well, no, like, we got, I didn't watch it, but, what's it called? Lovecraft. But that wasn't last year, right?
That was 2022.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, it was, that's another thing too about it, is why it was so public. It was, how did I start this segment? Within a month of each other, Quantumania, Creed 3, and Devotion all came out. And it was, I mean, I was making jokes to my manager saying, wow, we have so much Jonathan Majors in the lobby, we might as well paint a mural of his face on the wall. And 1 week later, it was, oh my God, Jonathan Majors has been arrested for, like, you know. But in terms of going to the other side of it now, do you think this was the right move by Marvel to just hold out all this time until find out definitively what the court says, and then boom, action, and exactly the plan that they were going for? We've been here for months, if not weeks, if not months, from all sorts of news outlets and stuff that, you know, they've been prepping contingency plans, and I think they just went like, all right, we're going with plan C, go.
No, yeah, I think it's no brainer. I mean, they wanted to wait until the whole legal process played out. I don't blame them for doing that. And if he was found now guilty, they probably would have stuck with him, which is their prerogative, you know. They're allowed to do that. And, you know, again, he wasn't found guilty, and then half an hour later, or, you know, a minute later, they were like, this was discussed.
The news came out. What do we do?
Yeah, this was discussed,
Somebody
weeks
call Kevin.
Before, you know, on what the contingencies were, obviously. But no, I think, it's, again, this was somebody that they were basing their entire kind of next slate of movies on, I'd say, as a main villain. And to have this incident come up and you had to pivot, I think they did what they should have done.
Well, let's wrap up with where you kind of took us to then is what is the plan? I mean, in your opinion, where do you think we go from here? Do we go with the Loki season 2 kind of good bow put on it?
Yeah.
But then we've also heard some people, I would say less reliable people. This is more like I've been seeing tweets from like the My Time to Shine Hello and Get Some Toast. Those couple of places have said, I've been told multiple times that they are not pivoting from Kang. But then people like the Jeff Snyders and like Charles Murphys and people more attached to outlets and more suitable stuff have said, I think they absolutely ditched this Kang thing. And then the whole Michael Waldron being brought in to totally tear up Avengers 5, not even referring to it as Kang Dynasty anymore. Do you think they go with a recast, or do you think they just
Daniel
go...
said Terrence Howard recast. I saw that like too on Twitter. Man. Somebody was like, they have Marvel has the chance to do the funniest thing, No, I think
Jonathan Majors. John Boyega tweeted out today, somebody asked him straight up, would you play Kang? And he said, absolutely not.
No, I think they pivot. And I think they have a chance to bring in a newer villain that I would say, again, I don't know how popular Kang was when the comics were coming out, but that maybe has some, is more popular with the fans. Mm-hmm. As in, Doctor Doom or something like that. Yeah. But we'll see. But no, I think who is that? Who is that?
It's Terrence Howard.
Why is he man. As the one?
I don't know. That's perfect.
But no, I think they have the chance to just leave it as Loki, and I think that's fine. They did a good job with that, I thought. Mm-hmm. And then move on. And
still bring the TVA back, because like people were like, "Well, the TVA is supposed to be in Deadpool 3. How do you explain that if they're not?" Just say that the Mobius Hunter B-15 part of the TVA is focusing on Kang, and the thousands of other TVA agents are focused on multiverse stuff. Like, I think there's perfectly room for both. And I think you pivot to Doctor Doom. If that's not what they were already doing already. I mean, you know what I mean? Because there's been rumors that it's going to be Kang Dynasty and then Doom is the villain of Secret Wars for, like, before even the Jonathan Majors stuff happened. There was rumors of that. I think the original rumors was that then Secret Wars would be Kang and Doctor Doom together, and then it would be these two big threats. Now I think you just make it just Doom. You know what I mean? I think maybe you even make it a multiversal Doom. Maybe you go Nikolai Coster-Waldau's cast as Doctor Doom, and he's just like this, Latverian scientist in Fantastic Four. But then a multiversal variant of him is the one that's going crazy in Secret Wars and stuff. So that way you can still have a kind of lower Reed Richards level Doom and the like savior of the multiverse one without having to like totally sacrifice that character. Because I don't think they would want Doctor Doom to just be in Secret Wars and then kill him in Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Because then it's like you only get one movie with the guy. I don't think they would do that either. But I think however they're going to do it, I think you definitely pivot to Doctor Doom at this point, especially with where Loki leaves off. I mean, if they're only doing one movie next year, which is Deadpool 3. So it's like reshoot a scene in Deadpool 3 that changes it from Kang to this threat. You know what I mean? And then worry about it later. You're buying yourself this time. Use this time to build off what you've already established. But yeah, I would much prefer that over a recast or anything. I think there's also an element of a recast of, if you go, hey, Aldous Hodge, we want you to be Kang. Does Aldous Hodge go, that doesn't really feel right to me. To you know what I mean? To come in and take Jonathan Majors' role. Or even like, hey, for my own career, that role has too much baggage on it. And then at that point, it's like, are you casting an unknown to replace Jonathan Majors? Then that doesn't work at all. I think it's just cleaner just to move on.
Yeah, agreed.
But let us know more. So what you guys thought down below. But we will move on. I don't think we're going to go through the entire release calendar for what Disney released. Mainly the thing to keep in mind is that a lot of the Star Wars stuff is left undated right now. And the main takeaway here is that Andor is not on the list. So now, for the first time, we have an official Disney website update that has officially delisted Star Wars Andor Season 2 as a 2024 release. Which would make you believe that it's not going to be released in 2024. So 3 years between seasons of Andor. What are your thoughts?
That's a long time. But
it's a big show.
Yeah, we were talking before we went live about the shows that are in 2024, and that includes Acolyte, Bad Batch, Skeleton Crew, and Tales of the Jedi, and I think that's more than enough to kind of tide us over. Would I've liked it next year? Of course. I would. If you told me, oh, we're gonna push Bad Batch 2025 and have Andor 20, I'd be like, okay, fine. I'll do that train.
Absolutely.
Like whatever. Or even like Tales of the Jedi, anything like that. I'd be like, okay, fine. So that does stink.
Also, to be fair, no Visions on here either.
Right.
No season 3 of
Visions. Yeah. So that does stink, but if they need more time, and I kept saying it was season 1. I was like, when the hell is this show coming out? Because I felt like it was just announced years ago.
Yeah. They started filming season 1, I think, in 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
It felt longer than that.
And they wanted to do 5 seasons of this. No shit. Diego Luna and Tony Gilroy went, we're gonna do it in 2.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it in 2, and it's still gonna take 6 years.
So yeah, I'm really excited, but we're just gonna have to wait, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I think it is pretty substantial news because it's a show that I think a lot of people were anticipating. I mean, we got that trailer dropped at Celebration 6 months ago. At this point, leaked everywhere online. So it's like, this is a show now that we're not gonna get for possibly 2 more years from where we are right now, that has already had a trailer shown for it. Just very, very interesting. Obviously not the show's fault. This is a clearly direct result of the strike just throwing everything off. But I think it's also a direct result of the new Bob Iger, we're going to spread this out. We do not want, like you said, 4 shows is plenty. We don't need 6 Star Wars titles to drop in 1 year. You know what I mean? 4 is plenty. 4 might be way too much, according to some people. But, so yeah. Am I disappointed? Yes. Give it more time. Let it look as polished, as perfect as the first season did, and I think we'll be totally fine. We'll have more than enough Star Wars and Marvel to carry us over until eternity. But yeah, man, is it already that time?
It's already that time.
I think it's already that time.
Yep.
Might be a little bit of a shorter show this week. Like I said again, we are going to be taking the next 2 weeks off, but until then, we thought we'd do a little festive treat for you guys. Every Christmas on the show, we try to do something Christmassy related. I believe a couple years ago, or 2 years ago, we did just straight up top 10 holiday movies. Can't even remember what we did last year for it. Maybe just 2 years ago we did No Way Home, because that was that week. last year we did the holiday movies. And
can I just say real quick, I'm so happy, and I know we live in Buffalo, and I know snow could be really annoying. I'm so happy that it snowed before Christmas, again, like a real snow.
I wasn't happy at 7:30 this morning, but I'm a little happier now.
I'm just saying, I was telling Danielle the other day, I was like, I know it sucks, I know cold, people don't like it, but if I lived in California or anywhere, Florida, Texas, whatever, and there was no snow and it's Christmas time, I think I'd be pretty really sad.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me. I don't know. I just
I always think about what you just said with Matt Nost, who's former host of the Top 10, current host of Settle the Score, which is a great podcast show out there. Because he always talks about he grew up in the Midwest, so obviously we're not in the Midwest, but we're in the same snow region. And then he's like, man, sometimes I just get sad, and he's like, I do not miss the horrible winters, but he's like, I do miss having snow, for Christmas, you know what I mean? That's got to be tough. Imagine living in Australia if Christmas in the summer.
Oh,
you know,
God.
Right now they have Christmas when we have Christmas. It's just 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Or 50 or whatever.
No thanks.
Celsius crap they talk about over there. We're not here to besmirch the.
Well, actually, real quick. Speaking of just this week,
did you watch the Civil War trailer?
No, I didn't watch it. Okay. But I'm thinking of just real quick. The movies are coming out this week. I just wanted if you had to go and see, I think there's 3 that are coming out this week,
buddy.
I need. Okay. I would need what you most want to see.
Let's hit this first. I'm going to tell you right now. I have the list right here from my boss because this is what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I had to change 26 poster cases today.
Okay, yeah.
It took me 7 or not 7. It took me about 5 hours because I had to map out the building, do everything, because last week we lost 10 movies and only got Wonka.
Yeah.
This week, Wonka is going from 10 prints, which means it's showing in 10 auditoriums, down to 2.
Wow.
Because we're getting 10 movies.
The hell are you
It is
getting?
a lot more than 3.
Yeah.
This is what is coming out. Migration, Anyone But You, Aquaman, Iron Claw, Color Purple, Ferrari, Poor Things, and The Boys in the Boat.
Wow,
all of that is coming out.
Those are a lot. I was thinking you were gonna name 2 movies I wanted to see, but you named 5 or 6.
Exactly. Yeah. Fuck. That is officially what we are getting, and that's not even counting potential other limited releases that are going wider. Technically, Maestro is still out right now in limited release. Right.
Yeah.
But in terms of, to answer your question, in terms of what is coming out, I don't know. My tune has changed. Yesterday when I went to see Godzilla -1, I was kind of digging the Aquaman trailer.
I still haven't watched the first one.
I think it's just Patrick Wilson and Jason Momoa.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah.
At some point, I'm going to watch the first one, obviously. But I'm really looking forward to
the DCU being over.
Yeah, that. But
DCU.
Looking forward to Maestro, which comes out on Netflix tomorrow, actually, and Iron Claw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I will say out of that, I
almost said Nobody But You, but then I thought no.
Yeah, if I'm gonna throw Maestro in on this, I'll say I think it's probably Aquaman, Maestro, and Iron Claw, and Wonka. I'm excited for Wonka. I have not seen Wonka yet. I'm excited for it. But yeah, a lot more than 3 coming out this week.
Yeah,
I only said, that was literally the bulk of it was just shoveling and posters was my entire 9-hour shift. So that was really fun today. But it was important work that got done because now I'm set. I shouldn't have to change a poster until January 8th. So we should be good. Let's do the list.
Let's get this list on the...
Do you have any honorables? Do you want to hit some honorables?
Yeah, I had some in my mind. Okay. No, I hope my phone doesn't die.
Also, throw anyone watching right now, throw in some holiday characters here. Throw them in.
So I think I got 2, maybe 3. So my first one, I would say, is probably... Let me just make sure he's not on my list. Yeah, so first one's going to be Bernard, Santa Claus movies.
Tell you right now, that's a punt.
Okay, great character. But, I had some more important ones on the list. My second will be another Santa Claus character. Is going to be...
Don't even say it, man.
I don't... Hey. Is fake Santa from Santa Claus 2.
Ho, ho, ho.
Yes, exactly.
What? You mean just real Tim Allen? Just the real Tim Allen came out for a second? Did you see that story that girl from the
That
Santa
he was
Claus show?
A terrible person?
Yeah, she said he was a horrible bitch on the set. It's man, that is really something.
And my last one is I can never remember his
Neil from the Santa Claus.
No. I can never remember his name.
We're dressed like Neil right now.
Is hold on, let me find his name. Right. I think it's Hermie from Rudolph and Island. Yeah. I love Hermie. Brings back it brings back some good old childhood memories. So those are my 3 honorable mentions.
That's okay. I did not think about Hermie.
Yeah, Danielle just actually brought him up when I was making the list earlier, and I was like, "Oh shit, I completely forgot about him."
I did not think about Hermie. absolute honorable mention. Shout out. A couple of Rankin Bass honorable mentions, just because I love those movies so much when I was a kid, as I'm sure every kid did, but specifically, even now, I would say, again, now that my hair is kind of like this, I do resemble the young Santa Claus played by Mickey Rooney in I can see that. Yep. Santa Claus. So I will throw Rankin Bass Santa Claus, played by Mickey Rooney, in both movies. Mm-hmm. So Year Without a Santa Claus and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. So young and old version, both Mickey Rooney's. Mm-hmm. Fantastic Santa Claus. And then I'll throw on Hermie as well, and I'll give a little shout out to the Winter Warlock.
Winter Warlock, that's a good one. Yep.
You know, you melted this icy man's heart. Yeah. You know, I that got me every time when I was a kid.
No, do you have any other ones?
Yeah, I got a couple more. I got 3 interesting ones.
Okay.
I got Old Man Salt from Home Alone.
Okay.
Salt, old man with the cut on his hand. Great guy, incredible character. I got the Christmas Spirit, as played by Tom Hanks in The Polar Express. So take your pick.
That's a punt.
Okay. Well, then I will go more specific, and I will say I'm referring to the Christmas Spirit as the collective.
Well, when you say spirit, though, you're saying okay.
I'm saying the collective entity of the conductor, the hobo, and Santa. Okay. Even though I will recognize, probably for the purposes of your list, that you're talking about the hobo. Yeah.
Well, no, not the hobo. I'm talking about the conductor.
Okay. Yeah. So either one. All right. We'll save that for the punt, because very, very good. And then last one is Cousin Eddie.
That's fair.
Christmas
yes.
Vacation.
No.
Shitter was full.
No. No Burgermeister Burger.
I'll give a shout out to Burgermeister Burger. I'll definitely give a shout out to them. There'll be no more toy.
We were watching that movie last night. And it's just so like one. I always forget Julia Louis-Dreyfus is in that movie. That's pre Seinfeld too. Mm-hmm. Same year I think it debuted, but I think the movie came out before the show premiered. Yeah. Maybe And yeah, just when he's like emptying the thing, he just goes, they're looking outside, he goes, sure, it's full. And then the guy like walks out of the house, he says the same thing. Like, it is so funny. Great
bend over and I'll show you. You got a lot of nerve, Griswold. I wasn't talking to you. Man, he's so good in that. Maybe we'll talk about some characters.
Too bad he's an asshole.
Yeah, too bad he's a horrific person. Man, if I ever did meet Chevy Chase, which I came close this past summer. Yeah. If I ever met him, he's the only one that could knock Richard Dreyfuss off of the worst person I
wasn't he here? I think he did like a show here or something.
Yeah, he did. I think he did a show at like Shays.
Yeah.
Like an evening with Chevy Chase or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, he was signed up for all those fan expos this past season, and I think he only showed up to like one of them. Like, he was announced for, like, 9. Yeah. And he only showed up to, like, one of them. And I was just like, man, that is awful. Mm-hmm. All right.
How do you want to start?
Well, first, I think let's just lay out real quick.
Rules. Yep.
We're going to do, let's see, what is it? I'll do my bottom, I'll go first. I'll do my bottom 5.
Okay.
You do your bottom 5. I'll do my next 2. You do your next 2. Then we trade one apiece until we've revealed our personal top 10 list. Then at the end of the show, we make the show between 2 of us. No, but then there is punting as well, which we've already done, which is basically in those 3 tiers. If it's higher up on the list, we basically punt the conversation so that the person who has it higher up has basically the floor to talk about that. So with that being said, I will give a little caveat here, because I might get myself into trouble and I could throw some of these honorable mentions up on the list. I have 2, maybe 3 characters that I would say are not necessarily... Well, really just one. Okay. Is not necessarily from a holiday movie.
Okay.
But is so... immensely associated with holiday.
Okay.
That kind of a thing. Okay. So I will say that. And it is not my number 10, but my number 10 is... right. My mom just reminded me. Yes. for eagle-eyed viewers that were watching last week, we were supposed to have a guest on.
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
Unfortunately, our friend Paige, she was forced to work the closing shift tonight at very last minute thing. So unfortunately, she was not able to join us. But we look forward to having her probably on.
You said Chevy fell off the stage in Buffalo? Is that true?
I don't know.
I didn't hear anything about that.
Probably,
if we can get a video of that from anybody, that'd be awesome.
Oh, man, that's amazing. My number 10 is the Pumpkin King himself, but he is in a holiday movie, and that is Jack Skellington.
Oh, yeah, that's not my list.
Do you...
I know. I like that movie. I haven't watched it in a while.
Yeah.
Danielle,
I just rewatched it when it came
Danielle,
out
not a fan of the movie, so I have not watched it in a long time. Definitely, I will try to watch it around this season at some point, but yeah, not on the list. Not on the list.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a movie and a character that I really, really loved. I mean, I was Jack Skellington for like Halloween 2 years in a row. I really, really loved that movie when I was a kid, and then I just kind of fell in love with a reappreciation of it when it just came out in theaters for its 30th anniversary. I saw it on the big screen, and I was just like, holy shit, this movie's really, really good. And Danny Elfman / Chris Sarandon as Jack Skellington, I think either the singing or the just regular voice performance, really, really good, and the stop motion is just like brings the character to life. And I love, he's just very like Christmassy to me. I mean, the guy, all he wants to do is put on a nice Christmas for everybody, and I can kind of relate to that as somebody who always just all I want to do is throw a nice Christmas for people. So my number 10 is Jack Skellington. My number 9 is the kind of cheat.
Okay.
And that is Harry Potter.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay. Well, for me, I
know what you mean. Yeah. No, I know what you mean. Yes.
If it was just one movie that was like kind of holiday-y, then I'd be like, okay, no shot. All 8 movies, except for maybe Deathly Hallows Part 1. So 7 of the 8 movies all have a humongous element of Christmas right in the center of every single movie. And it is how Harry is feeling during the holidays, how he's... And I thought to myself, I was like, do I want to put a character from Love Actually on here? And then I went, if I'm going to put a character from like Love Actually on here, and I'm just talking about people who are around Christmas, I was like, I think Harry Potter counts then, because the movies might not be holiday movies, but they're played every holiday. They're on the 23 Days of Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
They're in the holiday section on Max. They're in the holiday... They come in little snow wrapping for a holiday edition at Target, you know. And it is my number 9. That's why it's as low as it is. But
as soon as December turned, I said to Danielle, I said, I guess it's time for the annual Harry Potter rewatch. And
I'm watching them right now. I'm in the middle of watching them right now.
Yeah.
They're great.
So I don't blame you for adding that one.
But I did put him at 9.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay. Now... The next one is also kind of not a cheat, but this character has appeared in a theatrically released film.
Okay.
But it is mainly a TV character. But
okay.
He has appeared. Yeah. Okay. My number 8 is the Doctor from Doctor Who.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you're talking 15 banger Christmas specials, if not more. Also, just regular Christmassy stuff peppered within, but talking specifically the Christmas specials across 5 different actors. Jodie Whittaker, technically hers were all New Year's specials, but still, it's just a very Christmassy character. I mean, 2 of the specials deal with actual Santa Claus, or Charles Dickens with A Christmas Carol. I mean, there's just it's a very Christmassy character, and every Christmas. I will watch Doctor Who. I will watch tons of the Doctor Who episodes, and I think maybe my favorite one ever is Capaldi's Regeneration special, Twice Upon a Time. That's the one with him and the first Doctor, and it's basically they're in Antarctica on Christmas Eve, and they're both about to die, and it's just them. I mean, there's a Doctor Who adventure going on at the same time, but the theme and the emotions of the episode is just it's all about how sad the Doctor always feels at Christmas, and it's like he's just a Christmassy guy or gal. The Doctor is Christmas. That was like one of the first things that I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna put that on there. It really is. And then and next week we're getting a return to the Christmas specials with Ncuti Gatwa's first episode. So I'm very, very excited for the next Doctor Who Christmas special, and literally the dozen that have already come before it. So my number 8 is The Doctor. My number 7 might be a punt. Probably going to be a punt. My number 7, I thought it would be higher. Jack Frost, as played by Martin Short.
That's a punt.
The Santa Claus. Okay. Maybe the next one is a punt.
Okay.
Number 6, again, I thought it would be higher, but there's so many great ones. I'm going number 6, Kevin McAllister.
That is a...
Is it in your top 5?
No. So I guess it's not a punt.
Okay, so we can talk about it. So what number is it?
He's my 9.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, I mean, I love Home Alone. I mean,
I'm with you, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, these are now... like, The Doctor, for me, was the last one that I was like... Those bottom 3 are just, like, very Christmassy figures in my life that I always visit those characters for Christmas. So that meant a lot to me personally. 7 and up are just, like, straight-up holiday classic people.
Right.
And I think you don't get more classic than Kevin McAllister on Christmas. No matter which of the 2 movies that you're watching.
Right.
Macaulay Culkin, fantastic performance. Yeah. The Wet Bandits.
Joe Pesci. When I watched the second one, I was like, man, Joe Pesci is just so good in both these movies. So funny. And I'm with you on the whole Kevin McAllister thing. Unfortunately, his terrible parents that just leave him anywhere, not even paying attention to the poor kid. But
Catherine O'Hara coming back as another terrible parent in the Argyle trailer. Your daughter's being kidnapped by people, and you're going, you really need to work on your life.
Yeah. But no, I'm with you. Anytime you throw on a Home Alone movie, or I'll say, I guess any of them technically, but the first 2 specifically,
the first 2,
you're feeling right back in that kind of Christmassy holiday season, I'd say. And that's whenever you watch it.
Yeah.
Not just around Christmas time.
Home Alone may be the most 80s, 90s movie ever made, which is saying a lot, but just infinitely quotable too. Like just to throw. I know we're talking specifically the characters, but just to throw a little flavor of the movie on there, just so many great lines and great stuff. But yeah, that is my bottom 5. So what is your number? 10?
You already did. Oh, you did the 5 already. Okay,
yeah.
All right. So my number 10. Some of these might be punts. So my number 10 is the Grinch, specifically portrayed by Jim Carrey.
That is a punt.
Okay, I figured that. 9, Kevin McAllister. We just talked about that. My 8 is the Conductor from Polar Express.
All right, let's talk about
Tom Hanks.
Go for it. I just watched like an hour of this movie the other day too.
Yeah, I mean, Polar Express again is another one, and specifically Tom Hanks in that movie is one that always brings me back to when I was younger. We went to go see the movie specifically, I think at the Riviera Theater, I think. And him playing obviously those 3 characters, but I always go back to him singing the whole Hot Chocolate song and getting I don't even, does the kid have a name? Is it just Hero Boy? Yeah, getting Hero Boy to believe and into the getting him into the Christmas spirit.
Played by box office sensation Josh Hutcherson.
Yeah. But no, I just, whenever I think about that movie, I think about that character specifically.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think like one of the most, like, if your brain goes Polar Express, the next 2 words are Tom Hanks, not Christmas or like Santa Claus.
What is this?
It's
like, the Polar Express, of course.
What do you got? Here we only got one.
Remember when Hero Boy thought he threw that girl off the fucking...
Yeah. He's gonna throw out the train. And where is your ticket?
Now, if we're being honest,
also like I said, all 3 of them, the hobo and Santa.
Right. If we could just nitpick real quick, she doesn't have a ticket, so we have to put her at the front of the train. Like, that's even cooler, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, it's also, I don't know, it's very weird. It's just like, I get that, like, he's under a lot of stress, but like, it's like,
hey, gotta be on time, they're almost late,
Yeah, I don't know, man, that guy was on drugs or something. He was like that watch did not, that watch, there was something wrong going on with that, but yeah.
So my 7 is Clark Griswold,
and he put that little boy in the puppet car, the dark puppet car. Yeah. That is a punt.
That's a punt. Okay, and then 6 is George Bailey, A Wonderful Life.
Is a punt.
Okay, all right.
That is a punt. I'm surprised. I mean, 6 is not that far of a punt, but I thought that would have been a punt on to you. All right, so my number 5, the punt from earlier, George Bailey. Let's go. It's a Wonderful Life. I mean, this movie, if anything, has grown in my, to pull a Scott Mans, has grown in my estimation over the years. I, for the life of me, can't remember why. It doesn't feel right that it would have been all the way back at Christmas, but I think it was over the summer when I was just watching all those old movies. Maybe I also listened to the Cinephiles episode at the same time. But I feel like I watched It's a Wonderful Life twice this year already. And that really, I think I did listen to the Cinephiles episode. That is absolutely what it was. And watched it. And that really just, I mean, pre that, George Bailey's probably number 7, number 8 on this list. Jimmy Stewart is incredible, obviously, in that movie, but also just what that movie's about, his performance, the layers and kind of the depths of like his soul that he puts on screen is just fantastic, and everything with Clarence. And that was another thing too, is that like I really watched it for like comprehension and understanding, and just like Clarence is in such a little amount of that movie. Like, really not until, like, basically the third act. But he makes such an impression. And the whole, just the whole town and everything. Like, obviously it's iconic scenes, but it's a movie that is so much better than the sum of its parts. Like, you can pull up on YouTube the iconic, like, oh, you want me to lasso the moon? Or, like, the dance or something like that.
Oh, you want me to... that was my best one. I definitely could do a better one.
That was pretty good. Oh, you want to
there you go.
Mary? Oh, but everything with that.
No,
the movie is so good. What about?
Yeah, that character
one apart on our list. So
yeah, no, that character obviously, of course, puts me immediately in the holiday spirit, and I agree with you. Everything that he goes through, I always go back to the when he's holding his daughter at the end of the movie, he goes, oh, when the what's it called, rings, an angel gets his wings. He's like, that's right. Yeah. And I think it's a Christmas Vacation too, when I think Rusty's watched that movie or something. I was like, oh man.
Yeah.
And no, I agree with you. I feel like
my brother's the richest guy in town.
Yeah, I've only seen the movie twice, I think. I think both at like Christmas time. But yeah, I'm with you on everything you said. Definitely a character that I feel like whenever anybody thinks of Christmas, they think of that character, no matter where they are on the list or where he is on the list. Okay, so my 5, right? Or your 4?
It would be my 4.
Okay, your 4.
So my 4 is another punt from earlier.
Okay.
And that is Clark Griswold.
I mean, all the man wants to do is give his family a nice Christmas, and it's ruined by his boss who won't give him a freaking Christmas bonus. Good worker, from what we can understand.
Absolutely.
Chevy Chase, maybe not the greatest human being, but Clark Griswold, kind of stupid, but a person who really just loves his family and wants to show them the best time.
Absolutely.
But I will say, I guess it works out in the end. He gets his money, and even though it's not kind of like, it's like the spirit of giving. It's the they say, it's not really about the gifts, but like what he wants to do is he just wants to give his family like a pool.
Yeah.
So it kind of is about the gifts.
Yeah.
But
and to be fair though, it is. He does daydream about the girl from the mall.
He does do that. Yeah.
Mary. No shit. But before the dream turns into that.
Yeah.
He wants the pool, but he wants the pool so that the family can be together and not be as stressful of the family coming together, but make his house kind of like the hub for all the generations of his family. And I think that's fantastic. And but yeah, I mean, obviously I watched like the first 45 minutes of this the other. I have a problem with it. I just start movies before I have to go to work, and I never finish them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything, like all the beginning part, like with getting the tree, all that stuff when the family comes over, like the Christmas lights, everything with the neighbors, like
eat my rubber.
Yeah, and then also just like the I think probably the best, most Christmassy scene in that movie is him in the attic watching the old home videos.
Yep.
That has the great tag at the end of it where she pulls the ladder down, but like when he gets stuck in the attic and it's the exact opposite.
Yeah.
It's a really well made movie. Really well.
When we were watching it, I said to Danielle, I go, "This seems like a movie they could have shoved Alan Arkin into. Feels like he would have fit somewhere."
Oh, absolutely. He could have been his dad. He could have been anybody.
Yeah.
Hey, actually, back then he probably would have been a good like older cousin Eddie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Alan Arkin does feel like he would be in that like those vacation movies.
Uh-huh.
All right, so what is your number 5?
So my number 5 is Jack Frost, portrayed by Martin Short.
All right, let's talk about it. Incredible.
The best villain, in my opinion, from any 3 of those movies, even though it's not really a villain in the first one. Yeah. Maybe Neil, if you want to count Neil, I guess. But Martin Short, wonderful.
Child Protective Services.
Yeah, yes, that too. Yeah, and I think you sent me that thing on Twitter where it was what the original idea for the character of Jack Frost was in that movie, and thank God they changed it and they had the wherewithal to be like, yeah, this isn't working.
Yeah.
Because I think what he does, and he really does a really good job of portraying the evil side, and you know, he wants to be Santa, he wants to be Christmas, he wants it all to revolve around him, and that's not the spirit of Christmas. It's not all, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you, okay?
Exactly.
It's about everybody else around you, and he just
even say that sometimes the world's got you so down that there's some days you wish you'd never been Santa at all.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. One more time.
Who said that? What did he say? Who said that? Rudolph? Rudolph's mama.
Rudolph's mama? Oh man!
Oh my God!
Good old 2006 recordable pen. Really gets you, man. Yes, I'm Santa. Come meet Santa. Man, no, but unironically, I mean, obviously we love that movie collectively, and Martin Short specifically. But really talking about Martin Short, I mean, Martin Short brings that character to like. That is a role that is almost entirely made, what is it called? Made or broken on the back of the performance. I mean, it is like he just brings everything into that, as most people do in that entire franchise. Again, Alan Arkin in the Santa Claus 3.
Yeah.
Maybe elves, the Canadians.
Maybe add an honorable mention. Maybe you could throw in one of the Christmas, I forget what they're called, kind of spirits, like Mother Nature or the council, the Council of Historical and Magical Figures or whatever. I forget what it's called. Have you been keeping up with the Santa Clauses on Disney Plus? They introduced are you ready for this? No, I'm not ready.
A Yule-verse. Like a Spider-Verse, but for Santa Clauses. I'm not even joking. That's what the season 1 finale is.
What does that even mean?
Santa goes into the Yule-verse, and he meets all the Santas from Christmas past. That's not even a joke.
Is anybody good?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like closing my eyes. I'm laughing so hard. I'm like crying.
I will say this. The one great thing that show has going for it is all the different Santas that they put in it are very good. Like,
did they bring back evil, like did they bring back fake Santa at least?
Well, I wouldn't want to get into spoiler territory. I wouldn't want to speak out of school on that.
God.
No. I will say that show, the first season was pretty good. The second season, I've watched all of it.
Yeah.
The second season, not so much, but it's still fun. And I like, I always forget his name. He played,
God.
Oh, he played the guy on Modern Family. He played Cam.
Ty Burrell?
No, he played Cam on Modern Family. But he plays Mad Santa in season 2. Pretty good. But then there was an allusion to Jack Frost.
Oh,
I'll say that.
That'd be lit.
There was a couple of people from the council in season 2.
They got like Martin Short back then. You got me.
I mean, you already got him in the Disney Family with Only Murders. You can't throw him in the volume. Yeah. give him a wig, you know.
Yeah. It's all right.
All right, so
my 4.
Your 4.
That would be Whitey from 8 Crazy Nights.
Never seen it. So
not necessarily. I believe he's Jewish. I think that's what Danielle said. So not necessarily, doesn't celebrate Christmas. But first time I saw the movie 2 nights ago, voiced by Adam Sandler. Just a wonderful little character. He does everything for the community. Doesn't ask for anything back. You're stuck in the street. Your car's stuck in the street. He's gonna come. He's gonna come help you out. You're gonna be, threatened with 10 years of prison because you ruined the town's Christmas. He's gonna stick up for you and say, "Hey, why don't you come over here and ref my community basketball with me? I'll teach you the ropes and you can rehabilitate yourself in the process." Basically, the plot of the movie. Well, he's not Jewish, but it's a Hanukkah. Okay, it's a Hanukkah movie, so he's not Jewish though. But just a really lives with his sister, takes care of her in her time of need, doesn't ask for anything. He deserves the what's it called? What town do they live in? The town patch, the patch that is given out every year for members of the community that do good. He's never gotten it, wow. And I will tell you, he did deserve it.
This sounds like a dream that you're doing.
It's not rated highly on Letterboxd, but I had a fun time with it. I thought it was.
Where's it
really
rank in the IMDb top 250?
I couldn't tell you. Probably very low. Well, like I said, it's got Rob Schneider playing a Japanese waiter.
Yeah, that's rough. That's rough.
I wish I could do. I really wanted to do the voice, but I can't. He does this little scratchy voice like Adam Sandler does. It's really. I'm gonna look it up. And there's songs too. There's singing as well.
Well, isn't that where they put the Hanukkah song into the movie, right?
Yes, fair enough. Great character. I think going forward, when I think of Christmas, I will definitely think of that character.
There you go. Whitey Bulger from...
Whitey Bulger, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Johnny Depp himself. All right. So my number... or do you... Were you want to play the voice?
Yeah. Here, this is them.
Wow. Oh, this is an animated movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
That's a technical foul. That's what he sounds like.
Oh, my gosh. Incredible.
It's a basketball. It's Adam Sandler. It's part there's a basketball element. But yeah, just
why would you show me something if I can't have it? Man, what a movie. Let's make that a holiday movie. Does Julia Fox wear a Santa hat at some point in that?
In Uncut Gems?
Yeah. My number 3 is... I was going to say a joke one, but I'll just say it. My number 3 is Paul Giamatti.
Oh, see, I haven't seen
as
that. Yeah.
Santa Claus.
I haven't seen the movie.
In Fred Claus.
Oh, Fred. Okay. I thought you were talking about Holdovers for some reason. Yeah, but I haven't seen either. Man. I haven't seen either movie. So
wait, no, you didn't. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's can I have an honorable mention as a alternate universe number 1 on the list?
Sure, yeah.
All right, I'll say Paul Hunnam then from The Holdovers is my potential number 1. But number 3, I'll go Paul Giamatti as Santa Claus.
Okay.
I just watched Fred Claus a couple weeks ago, or last week, I think. Also, I'll throw a slash on there. Vince Vaughn as Fred Claus. Both of them together. I'm constantly I watch that. This is one of the movies that I watch every year. I love Fred Claus like crazy.
What real quick? Sorry, can you just explain to me? Fred Claus is the one with Vince Vaughn, right?
Yeah.
So what's the deal? What is?
Yeah. So I mean, it's a really heartbreaking movie. Mm-hmm. To be totally honest, it's basically this kid Fred is born in something BC.
Okay.
And BC.
Okay.
And his parents love him.
Yeah.
And he's got a little friend named Chirp Chirp. He's a little bird that he loves. And then, oh my God, what a great news. He's going to have a little brother. Okay. Only problem is his little brother, all he wants to do is make people happy. Mm. He said Fred He said Fred loves this tree. Yeah. So what am I going to do? I'm going to cut down the tree and move it in the house, and it'll be the first Christmas tree ever. Okay. Little Chirp Chirp dies. Oh. So, whole rest of his life, and there's a haunting scene where young Fred and young Nick is his name. Nick sometimes Kris Kringle, but Nick Claus is his name. It's like his parents are facing the fireplace, and Fred balls up a snowball and just nails him in the back of the head.
So Vince Vaughn plays his brother. I did not know that. Okay.
Fred Claus is Santa Claus's older brother.
I thought it was like he's his son grown up or something like that. Okay, got it.
So Fred is Santa's older brother. Okay. And there's one of the most haunting scenes ever, which is he just balls up this snowball and just nails him right in the back of the head. And it's like this little 12-year-old that they have playing young Santa, this like little pudgy kid, and he just turns around and his cheeks are all flushed and he's just like, and I'm like, man, and that's like basically the dynamic of the whole movie, is that then it cuts to 2,000 years later, and it's you know, modern day, and Fred is just this really jaded guy who does not like Christmas.
Of course,
obviously can't explain to people why, but like the movie says that he's never been to the North Pole. I think what's more realistic is probably he just hasn't been there in a very long time.
Yeah.
Basically the whole movie is about them reconnecting as brothers. There's also a really great subplot. Unfortunately, Kevin Spacey is in this movie, but he is pretty good in the movie too, where it's almost like the Santa Claus, where it's like he's like, I'm here on behalf of like the world order of magical beings or something, and he's there to do an audit.
No,
and if he gets 3 strikes, Santa gets fired. Spoiler alert. Santa gets fired.
It sounds very familiar. Maybe I have seen this.
But yeah, it is an incredible movie.
Yeah.
Just the two of them are really what makes the movie and it's a Vince Vaughn comedy. Like, it's a Vince Vaughn Christmas comedy, but it has so much heart. And Rachel Weisz is in it. Kathy Bates plays their mom, so Santa and Fred's mom.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really, the anchor of that movie is Paul Giamatti as Santa is just one of the best interpretations, dare I say, the second best interpretation of Santa, I think, that I've ever seen. I mean, there's like Miracle on 34th Street and stuff, whatever. It's just, this portrays Santa as just like, as Nick. Like, that's what they call him in the movie, is just Nick. They just call him Nick in the movie. It's this story about this family that has grown apart. And you know, for them, it's been thousands of years, but for the to relate to the movie, you know, it can just be that you haven't talked to your brother in 15 years. And that's what the movie is about. And it's just a really emotional movie, but it's a really, really funny movie. And it does not work without the chemistry between Vince Vaughn and Paul Giamatti, and I think more specifically, just how well Paul Giamatti embodies Santa Claus in that movie. It's a very different Santa Claus than you're maybe used to. He feels a lot more like I said, he just feels like a guy. You know what I mean? He just feels like a guy named Nick who is just doing his job, and he loves his job, but his job is very stressful, and his brother's not helping him out, and he just, again, we keep coming back to this. I don't know if it's I don't know what this says about us as people, but we keep coming back to the people that are just trying to make Christmas good for their family. And that is very much, Santa's worried about the whole world, but more importantly, he just wants to have a good Christmas with his parents, and more importantly than anything, he just wants his big brother Fred back. And it's to the point where I was almost crying. Actually, I think I did cry when I watched it last week. I mean, it is a rousing, emotional movie, and it's one of those movies that I watch it every year, and every time I watch it, it gets better. And I don't know, I might be crazy. I mean, but it is very, very good, and Paul Giamatti is fantastic in it.
That movie also features Jeremy Swift.
I don't know who that is.
Higgins from Ted Lasso.
Oh yes, absolutely. Higgins is 100% in that movie. Yes, he is. Elizabeth Banks as well. There's a huge ensemble cast in that. But Molly Gordon, very young Molly Gordon.
Oh, okay.
But that is my number 3. So
all right.
What is your
My
number
3 is a Heat Miser from A Year Without Christmas.
That is not on my list, but I'll throw that as an honorable. Heat and not snow.
Yeah, I think I'm more of a Heat Miser guy. I don't know why. Both kind of the same. You know, if it's allowed, I would probably just do a Heat/Snow Miser, I guess.
I'd say this. Yeah.
Mainly from A Year Without Christmas because, A Year Without Santa. Yeah. Because, again, that is another classic kind of, and just speaking to the, obviously, holiday special in general, but them specifically, two characters that I always think about during Christmas.
Yeah.
Christmas time
100%.
is they're kind of back and forth.
They got a banger song.
And I don't know, how can you not, you can't not sing along, I feel like, no matter what. But yeah, Heat Miser / I guess Snow Miser Brothers.
That's another movie, another one.
Or Miser
Mother
Brothers,
Nature in it, and
yes, with Mother Nature.
A hierarchy of magical creatures.
So
beings.
I don't know if I told you, or maybe I did tell you that we had watched the kind of spin-off special from, I think it came out in 2007.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah.
So that also features another brother.
Oh. Sand Miser.
No. No Miser. I don't think there's a Miser in the name.
Okay.
Hold on, let me look it up because I am
Burger Miser Burger.
Hold on. All right.
Who would win in a fight, Snow Miser or President Snow? Probably President Snow. You'd probably poison
President
him
Snow.
And kill him.
The North Wind. Is actually the evil brother who's trying to take over.
Isn't Heat Miser the evil brother or the eviler brother?
The eviler brother. They're trying to take over. He's trying to take Santa over. Trying to take Santa out.
Wow.
It's gonna be the North Wind Christmas.
A lot of people trying to take Santa out. A lot of people trying to put him out of work. They said, listen, Buster, I could do it better. You know what I mean? Maybe that's why they cast.
You could travel around the world in one night. How about 3 hours?
Yeah.
I can do 3 hours. Can you do 3 hours? I don't think so.
I mean, literally almost any of these that have to do with Santa, almost every movie that has to do with Santa is about putting Santa out of business. Miracle on 34th Street. That's what
I've never seen that
about.
one. Yeah, that's
I've seen both of them. They're
okay.
They're like, I get it, but they missed me with both of them. The one 100 years ago and the one 30 years ago. They missed me with both. If I want Richard Attenborough, I'll watch Jurassic Park. All right, my number 2.
Okay.
The punt from earlier, from way back. That is The Grinch. Parentheses, all versions I like, but specifically Jim Carrey, and specifically The Little Boy Grinch.
The Little Boy Grinch.
Yeah.
Oh, like the bit. Like
look at that hack job.
Oh yeah.
Martha. Oh, Christmas. The fires.
For some reason, in my head, it was always. I don't know why I had it in my head that was Mike Myers. I don't know why. Clearly, it's obviously. It must have been Cat the Hat. Yeah, the Grinch. I mean,
fantastic.
Just a wonderful character that learns to love Christmas. Hates it at first, then his heart grows 10 times too big. After a
son of a proud LGBTQ couple.
Really?
Yeah, so he's got 2 moms.
Oh yeah.
His stork he floats down to 2 moms.
Oh yeah, you're right.
You are still living. I love man. So
but no,
I know who has.
But no, great character. And again, another character that when you think of Christmas, you're probably thinking of the Grinch.
I think of everybody from that movie. That is just like the mayor, like Martha May Whovier.
Mm-hmm.
The muscles, Christine Baranski, she was at the game.
Yeah, she was at the game, yep.
She was at the game.
Buffalo Native, I believe.
Buffalo Native, absolutely.
Who plays the mayor?
Jeffrey Tambor.
Yes, okay, yeah.
He had a beard. Unpleasant. Oh, man. And what's his name? Clint Howard, Ron Howard's little brother, as the mayor's like little errand boy.
Oh, yeah.
I think the mayor on man, so good. Everything in that movie is so good. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jim Carrey's Grinch is like that's. In a couple of these movies, I haven't even watched yet. These are like, to me, the more important the movie is to me, the closer I watch it to Christmas. Mm-hmm. It's like the movies are at their most powerful.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And I will say, I'll take a moment to say here, too, honorable mention to,
most powerful, yeah.
To just, like, the movie Love Actually. Like, that is another Christmas movie that, if we were, all right. if we were doing, that's why, like, we're doing characters. So, like, no one character, I thought a lot about all the characters in that movie, but no one character really stands above anyone else.
You told me the nudists and they didn't get you?
No,
they don't get you in the Christmas spirit? Yeah.
Well, they do get me in the Christmas spirit, but they're not enough to make it on this list. But, like, you know, I was going, all right, if you had to pick one, is it Liam Neeson? Is it Emma Thompson? Is it Colin Firth? Probably one of those three, I would say, are the main guy, and Hugh Grant. But it's really just all of it. So just honorable mention to the ensemble cast of Love Actually. Right. So that my number 2 was The Grinch.
So my number 2 is... Hold on. What do I do? Santa Claus. Tim Allen.
That is a punt.
That's a punt. Okay. So that's your one.
Well, my number 1 is Bernard. No, I'm just kidding. I said earlier that was I actually wrote that in there as my number 2.
Yeah.
It's just I needed the honorable mention to be put that high up. I mean, David Krumholtz, Bernard, fantastic. What would those movies be without him? But yes, genuinely, now I'm a little worried what your number 1 is that I might not have it. But yeah, number 1 for me. I mean, that's not even a question. Is Scott Calvin. Scott. I mean, to me. We've been talking about this whole time. When I think about Christmas, when it gets to this time of the year, I think about X person. There's not one person I think about less than Scott Calvin, a.k.a. Santa Claus. All 3 of those movies. The show as well. I watch the show. I've watched it for 2 years now. But those 3 movies particularly, and as much as we love the third one and the second one, that first movie is just like... the Christmas classic. I mean, I don't know if there will ever be a Christmas movie that hits me the way that the Santa Claus, the very first one, does every single time I watch it. He is, like I said when I said about Paul Giamatti being the second best, I mean, Tim Allen is Santa Claus. Like I mean, that's what they say at the end of the movie. You are Santa Claus. You know, mystery date, the weenie whistle, all that stuff. It's just incredible. Again, what was the other one we talked about? Martin Short, right, as Jack Frost. This is another one that the Santa Claus is a good like Disney Channel original movie until Tim Allen steps into the role and makes it a Christmas classic through and through. And also just more than Tim Allen too. I mean, the whole movie itself is really, really good, but without Scott Calvin being like the rock solid lead of that movie and like center of that movie, and the fact that you're invested with this guy who's kind of a piece of shit, like, you know what I mean, kind of sucks.
I'd say lost his spirit too. Lost his Christmas spirit.
Can't hear the bell.
Can't hear the
anymore,
bell.
you know,
taking his kid to Denny's on Christmas. What is that, Eve? Kind of lost Christmas spirit. Then finds it, and then kind of going through this thing where he wants to spend more time with his son, but at the same time, like, he has to hide that he's Santa.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole thing too, where it's like he almost like his son. He's like, it's like his son believes too much in Santa. Where it's like, well, then we get in the whole thing where it's like, when did we stop allowing kids to believe?
They're gaslighting Charlie the whole movie. Literally, like some psychiatrist that Neil is like, he's like, we got to just tell Charlie that it didn't. Well, I guess to be fair, from Neil's perspective, I don't think Neil thinks it actually happened, but like, yeah, it's just so great. And the fact that it's really about this real guy named Scott. What would happen if all of a sudden you as an adult man was forced to leave your life behind and become this guy? And that, like, and then it is kind of, I'll throw in there a little bit with the show. It's like, and even the movies, because those are 3 movies that there is quite a bit of time between all 3 of those sequels. I mean, it is a franchise that, I think, 14 years between all 3 movies, and then another 20 years another like 15 years for the show then after the 3rd movie. And to see that progression of now where he is at with his family, and he kind of has everything where he wants it to be and all this stuff, I just think it's fantastic. And I just literally, like I said, when I think of Santa Claus, I think of the Santa Claus. That, like, they're completely intrinsically linked for eternity in my mind. But yeah, But I think I know now what your number one is.
Do you want to guess?
One in chat?
No.
Oh,
no.
Okay. Well, then I really don't know. I mean, I guess then we're on the same page because Elf does not do it for me.
My number one is Rudolph.
All right, you like the underdog.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and again, I think it kind of goes back to
Not a comic guy.
No, I mean they're all cool, but Rudolph is, like you said, the underdog.
He's the OG.
He's the focus of many specials as well, I'd say. And specifically, maybe my favorite, one of, if not my favorite Christmas movie, Rudolph and the Island of Misfit Toys. Just a great character that, like you said, is kind of the underdog for a lot of the specials. And mainly just kind of, again, when I am thinking of Christmas, you get all nostalgic, all that stuff, and I immediately think of that character and either those specials that I watched with my family or the movie I was just talking about, the kind of weird 3D animated movie with apparently Jamie Lee Curtis is in. I didn't even know that. But yeah, I don't know. It's just something about Rudolph, man. He's.
I mean, that's fair. He's a popular one. Yeah, I did. I will say, like I said, with those Rankin Bass ones, like I always loved them. But for me, Rudolph was always like, it was not the one that I watched all the time.
Right.
Either Island of Misfit Toys or just straight up Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Mm-hmm. And I tell you right now, it did have a lot to do with the fact that Mickey Rooney was not Santa in it. So I was like, well, that's not a real one.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not.
Yeah.
But I really just think it was just that, like, I think just Rudolph just, I don't know. He didn't do it for me in the way that Santa did.
Yeah, like real quick, Island of Misfit Toys. A few heavy hitters. We got Richard Dreyfuss.
Whoa.
As Scoop the Snowman. Jamie Lee Curtis, Queen Camilla. And then Rick Moranis is the toy maker. And Mr. Cuddles, the teddy bear. Also is the toy maker. But yeah.
There you go.
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. I guess that's where Burgermeister threw the toy maker. What's it called? Yeah. I mean, Rudolph, totally solid choice. Not for me, totally solid choice. I think that is I think if you're talking about in the oeuvre of Christmas beings, I think Santa and Rudolph are right up there. No Krampus on this list.
Never even seen Krampus.
Yeah. No Black Peter.
No.
Oh, okay.
Who even? I don't even know who that is.
I don't know. No. What's the one that Dwight does? Rumpel.
Oh. Oh my God! Fucking hell. What is his name?
I will judge you impish, or
I can't remember what the
Bleeble Snort or something.
No, it's something
something
weird.
like that. But
Michael is Santa. Does that count?
Oh yeah, Michael is Santa. Phyllis is Santa. Bob Vance is Santa. Any of them.
Come sit on my lap. Oh, when Kevin sits on his lap. Oh my God,
man, incredible. Really, really good.
This is really gonna bother me now.
I'm sure there's tons that we've forgotten about. Yeah. But I'll look it up. What is the?
What the hell? I can remember Captain or Cyclops. I remember that character. But I can't remember the Christmas one.
Belschnickel.
Yeah.
Belschnickel. Do not fear. Belschnickel is here. I judge you impish. Oh, man.
Oh, God. All right. So let's list off our list. You want to go first?
Sure. I will go first with this. I'll cut out the honorable mentions. I'll throw 10. You know what? I'm going to change it real quick. I'll throw Bernard on at 10. I'll throw Bernard on at 10.
And who are you kicking off?
I'll kick off Jack Skellington. Just because I really love those movies, but to me, I think you could make the argument that that's a 50-50 Halloween Christmas movie, whereas if Harry Potter is also a cheat, Harry Potter is 100% holiday.
I am surprised. I at first put on Die Hard on here, and I was like, I've only seen one. I was like, I've only seen the movie once. I was like, two, it's kind of like,
yeah. Playing it right
I thought
now.
that might be on yours, honestly.
I've never seen it.
Oh, you've never seen it?
No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They're playing it right now in theaters. It leaves on Thursday night, and I'm like, maybe I'll see it, maybe not. But, yeah, so I'll go. My number 10 is Bernard from the Santa Claus. Number 9 is Harry Potter. Number 8 is The Doctor. Number 7, Jack Frost, Martin Short. Number 6, Kevin McAllister. Number 5, George Bailey. Number 4, Clark Griswold. Number 3, Paul Giamatti, Santa Claus. Number 2, Jim Carrey, The Grinch. And number 1, Tim Allen, Scott Calvin, Santa Claus.
And my number 10 is The Grinch, Jim Carrey. Number 9 is Kevin McAllister. Number 8 is The Conductor from Polar Express. Number 7 is Clark Griswold. Number 6 is George Bailey. Number 5 is Jack Frost, Martin Short. Number 4 is Whitey, 8 Crazy Nights. Number 3 is Heat Miser, Year Without Santa Claus. Miser Brothers, I guess, technically. 2 is Santa Claus, Tim Allen. And then 1 is Rudolph.
There you go. Well, what did we miss? What did we hit? Do you agree with one of our lists over the other? Who would you like to see on this list? I'm sure there's probably people we missed. I mean, right there, Buddy the Elf from Elf. I mean, that's just...
Yeah.
For both of us, not really movie.
Sorry.
Oh, there you go.
I like that movie. I don't know. I haven't gone back to it in a while.
Yeah, and to me, honestly...
And the character, obviously.
You lose me a lot with... based on your Santa Claus. And for me, I think Ed Asner is okay as Santa Claus. He's like kind of an easy pick. He's just an old white guy with a beard. And I'm like, I'm just like, okay. But it doesn't really do a lot for me. But yeah, let us know what you think about all of our list. Let us know, what do you think Marvel's going to do with the Kang situation that they have in front of themselves now? And let us know if you have watched season 2 of The Bear or any of The Bear. And other than that, I think that'll do it for us for this Christmas episode. Some things to remember. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Make sure to follow us on our audio feed, which is the Planetfield Network on any of your podcasting apps of choice. Google Podcasts is going the way of the dodo next year, which is insane. I love that app. And they want us to move over to YouTube Music, which has no podcast infrastructure. It lumps podcasts in.
Wait, what's going on? Sorry, what?
The Google Podcast app is, they're decommissioning it.
Oh.
Yeah. And so they're trying to move everybody over to YouTube Music app, which has no infrastructure for podcasts whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I look up a podcast episode, and it has no differentiation between that or like a YouTube video, basically. And it's awful. I really hope that either add a huge robust podcast section in the YouTube Music app, or don't do anything to Google Podcasts, because that app is fantastic. But for the time being, you can find us on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, everything like that. We will be back on January 9th. It's going to be a big show again on January 9th. New year, fresh outlook, but the first thing we're going to do is look back at 2023 and give you our top 10 of 2023. Normally our top 10 of 2023 is our last show of the year, but we decided to push it this year and make it our first show of next year, so that me and TJ will have 2 weeks so that we can just worry about doing our holiday stuff, also working, and most importantly, getting caught up on some stuff. Saltburn's going on Amazon Prime. I doubt that'll make my top 10, but I got to give everything a chance. I got to see Poor Things. I know there's a couple things that we were talking about. Yeah, Maestro. Wonka. I don't know. I'm trying to make sure that for my tentative list that I've at least seen it twice. I don't want anything on there that I've only seen once. I'm really trying to make a robust list that I don't feel like changing 6 months later. But yeah, I think that'll do it for me. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk. Thank you guys so much for watching this year. Yeah.
And I've been your host, TJ Cornwall. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe below, and we will see you next time.
Boom.